All right. Alrighty. Oh, yeah. Another edition of the El Grando show coming in with some bonus material this week because things are changing, and I thought I was going to have some time next week to put out another episode, but turns out I don't think I'm going to have time, so I'm just going to put this episode in the books just in case, you know what I'm saying, I'll have it to put out because content is the key. All right, girls and guys. Like I always start the show, I just want to say hope everybody's well, hope everybody's safe. I hope you're checking in on your loved ones and finding some kind of routine to help, you know what I'm saying? Well, we are well into March now, and so I'll salute and cheers. What a time. What a fucking time to be living in, am I right? What a week. Unbelievable roller coaster this week. Just with, you know, family and friends and the job, and it's a very crazy time right now for me. I think the only one constant right now is me being me. Like, I know I can count on myself to be the same person that I was yesterday, so I'm counting on myself a lot nowadays, and it's sometimes it's overwhelming, but hey, if you can't trust yourself, I mean, if you can't believe in yourself, what the fuck you doing? You know what I'm saying? You got to believe in number one, first and foremost, you know what I'm saying? So, with that, I just want to go right into the show. So I hyped up the last show a lot because I believed in it, and I thought it was really good, and I mean, I just thought the content was good, and it was definitely something that I was very looking forward to, and you know, I talked a little bit on my last show about me being a minority. And I wanted to bring up a story about my neighborhood when I was a little kid. So on my block, you know, it was mostly, you know, Hispanic and Filipino, and there's white people too, but, you know, black people. It was mostly minorities, I guess. And so there was a black family that owned a house, you know, in our neighborhood, but they would rent it out sometimes. But you know, they ended up staying there, and the story that I heard from my brothers, because there's one gentleman in particular, his name was Steve Houston. Everybody called him Hugh. He's about 6'3", and the only way I can describe this guy is that he looked like Apollo Creed from Rocky. And if you haven't seen Rocky, I mean, just slap yourself now. You know what I'm saying? Rocky, or Rocky 2, Apollo Creed. He was in 3, I guess. Yeah, he was in 3, and he died in 4, right? Right. Yeah. So, yeah, Apollo Creed. His name was Steve Houston. Now, I wasn't sure if he was from Texas or whatever, and I wasn't sure. I never asked if there was any relationship between Whitney Houston, but they were cool. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew them, but they were older. Like Steve Houston is like 2 generations ahead of me, right? Like my oldest brother turned 50 last year, and so when he was a kid, Steve Houston was already uh out of high school, you know what I'm saying? But everybody knew him. He was still doing track. And like you know what I'm saying, he's a neighborhood guy, you know. So the story that I heard from my brothers was when they were kids, Steve Houston would race them around the block, and they would be on bikes. My older brother would be on bikes, and he would give them a head start around the block. You know what I'm saying, like halfway, and Steve Houston would still beat him. And it's an old story, you know what I'm saying, and it's like I said, my brother turned 50 last year, so yeah, and he was a kid when that happened, so it's just it's just a story that I don't think people heard, and it's to this day, it's amazing because I know the guy, and you know, maybe he doesn't know that I know that story, but you know, later on, like, you know, there'd be some people. He'd open up he had a gym in his garage, and he would let my brother's homies go and work out, and lift weights, and they try to be tough and lift weights with him. But yeah, you know, he wasn't nobody. You know what I'm saying? It was just, but I was still too young, you know what I'm saying, to experience that. But that's what I remember. And he was a cool dude, the coolest, and it's somebody you're never gonna forget. That's for sure. And it's just yeah, I don't know. It's just some, you know what I'm saying, like something I just wanted to bring up because it's a cool story. And also his brother he dog trains German Shepherds, I think. It's really weird. You know what, I forgot, but I haven't seen him in a long time, and I hope they're doing okay. I hope they're doing well. You know what I'm saying? Fucking fucked up time, you know? It's crazy. So, but all cheers and salute to them. All right, so one thing I wanted to bring up in this show is obviously, I mean, the fact that I watch a lot of TV. Okay, well, everybody knows that. Okay, so now what's happening to the shows is that you'll catch a show that happened like right when Trump got elected. And I caught a show the other day, and it premiered. I'm not gonna say what show it was, but it premiered the same week, and it's based in New York City, and it just showed like it was a lot more about frustration. You know what I'm saying? And especially there was a shot of people, you know, in a bar, and they were just commenting on stuff. And, you know, what I overheard was that, well, the middle class is going to be gone, you know, and the rich are going to, you know, prosper beyond whatever. And then there was optimism. Well, he's a businessman, the same kind of deal. And like, there was people calling their mom, and I understand how much it's a TV show, but at the same time, those are very real reactions of what I was hearing and what I was seeing, you know. And it's just crazy to me now that there's an archive of that whole what happened, because, you know, 4 years later, hello, you know, he's out of office, and so, but we can always look back at that time and remember what it was like. And just now, you know, whatever, how many months that he's been, you know, elected out, you know, I'm starting to see, you know, saying like the archives are starting to come out of what was going on in other places, but it's like the same idea. I think that everybody had the same idea, you know. It was like a lot of panic and like real like unrest and just questions, you know, like, you know, how did this happen, you know? But it's a fucking riot. You know, fucking. There was a lot of that I seen people saying that creatively it should the creativity that's gonna come out of this, oppression is gonna be unparalleled. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna come back stronger and better than ever, and so it's just interesting to me to catch some of that now because it happened not very long ago. So I don't know. It's a trip. It's a trip. That's for sure. That's for sure. But yeah, it's really cool to catch every once in a while. I don't know what else I wanted to talk about. I think one thing I wanted to mention was so I mean I live in Portland, right? And I think the biggest like the biggest difference to me that I've seen or that I've understood about Portland since I've been here was just like uh I mean for me what stands out to me about living here is the money. Right, the money. Like uh I've never been around so many people who have it. It's like it's it feels different because I don't know. I've it's just like I'm not struggling right now, but at the same time I'm not a freaking homeowner. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that there's like millions of people like me, right? But like just little things, just like I mean when I was living in New York, like my apartment was I had a studio apartment, but my building was a converted Victorian, so my fucking studio was huge. I say about a little. I say at least double the size of my apartment now, and it was like 14-foot ceilings. I had I had crown moldings and I had the top moldings and I had moldings all across the walls and it was in a cool part of the town. Like I didn't live in New York City, but it was just a cool place and uh it was maybe the nicest spot that I've been in. I mean besides this spot, but I'm paying for the spot that I'm in now, I'm paying twice as much. I am in the city. It's just, it's just little things, just little things. So I don't know. It's something that I definitely I noticed like right away. I'm gonna take a break real quick. Sorry, I'm just gonna take a little break. Well, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry about that. You see, if I had an editor, I could edit that out. I just had to close the door over here, but so yeah, I you know, it was a cool place. The thing about me is that like I've always been lucky on finding apartments. Like, you know, I've always something's always just kind of popped up for me because it's hard to find a place in Portland. Trust that. Like even like the basement apartments are run really high, like 900 for a basement apartment. So anywhere around the city, it's expensive to live for sure. And I've definitely gotten lucky on this spot for what I'm paying. And so, I mean, it's just I don't know. It's hard to compare the two. I think just like it's not that it bothers me. It's almost like I've mentioned before on here that I've been intimidated. It's very intimidating, you know what I'm saying, to be around money, and I'm not used to that. I'm not used to feeling intimidated, you know. And I mean, I've mentioned that I sometimes it's good for me to get out of my comfort zone, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like it is the rationale, the reasoning is different from ours, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, I was just talking about this the other day. It's like, I work in customer service, and like um when I was in New York, you know, for me to move up in, whatever restaurant I was at, I would have to, like, somebody would have to retire or somebody would have to die. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way it was, you know? And I knew I can contribute. I know I can contribute anywhere. Like I feel confident in what I do. And for me, when I got here, one thing that I had to deal with was the turnover. Like it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating when you work at a place that has a turnover, a really bad turnover rate, which means that a lot of people quit all the time. And you know what I'm saying, or they get fired. And I think that in some ways, uh, we got spoiled, or at least I did, because the first year, even year and a half that I'm at the spot now, we had really strong cooks, like really strong. Our prep cook was dope. You know, our everybody's dope. We can lean on each other. Nobody had to really force an issue because everybody knew that was going to get taken care of. Then like year 2 comes around and I'm at the same spot, right? But our turnover rate goes through the fucking roof. Like seriously, like it was it just got to a point to where I was showing people how to do stuff more than I was actually working on stuff that I needed to take care of, or just working in general, and that's not healthy. That is not healthy. And I understand it's really rough because, like I said, you work with people, 40 hours a week. Excuse me. Sometimes more than 40 hours a week. So you spend more time with the people you work with than your own family. And in my case, it's definitely the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, in essence, they become your family because you're always around each other. So it's hard when the turnover is so bad, especially when you start to get close to somebody. You know. But I've never had to deal with the turnover that we've had here, and it's 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 not easy to deal with, to say the least. You know, and I understand that there's other exceptions. You know, some people have been there forever, and they're like looking for a way out. You know, and then not just that. You know, there's whatever. You know, people. Their life goes on. You know, they've been there forever, but it's time for them to move on. And what can you do? So, I mean, but that's just one thing that stands out to me. Is the fucking money. Because you better have some. That's all I gotta say. It just seems like, like I said, money don't buy happiness, but it motherfucking helps. So, yeah. And I understand, like this is what I signed up for. Like, if you're in customer service, you're gonna have to. It gets intense, it gets intense. You have to. You definitely have to sacrifice. It's a life of sacrifice, and sometimes it's too much. It's too much to take. All right. I think we're going to. Wow. I guess I'm gonna. I wanted to switch it up a bit. Yeah, this is gonna be a quick show. But it's a crazy, crazy week for me, and I'm glad it's coming to an end. And I caught the Grammys today, and it was crazy. I can't believe they let Cardi B and what do you call it? They did Wet Ass Pussy. Megan Thee Stallion. It was cool. It was cool. My one comment on the Grammys this year was that it seemed like there's a lot of heavy hitters on the card, and it was weird in the sense that that there wasn't any fans there. I think, but the weirdest thing is like how good it was. It almost seemed like all the Grammy nominations were legit this year. Like, there wasn't no. I don't think anybody. I mean, I didn't question anybody that was on the ballots because I was like, wow, these are all heavy hitters. You know what I'm saying? Anybody could win this, and so I was really surprised of how good the show was, and so it was, in that sense, it was cool. I think. I mean, but it's weird. I mean, that's what makes it weird is how good the show was, even though they didn't have a fucking audience. But it was legit. I thought it was legit. Even their cutaway pieces were all really good. I think it's definitely cool. I mean, the Grammys are the fucking Oscars of the music industry, and I think they lost a lot of credibility in the last few years. But it seemed like I don't know how much they can gain back from one show, but this year it seemed like all their people who got nominated were fucking outstanding, and it was cool to watch. I mean, I caught the later half, but it was still cool, and I'm glad I watched it. You know what I'm saying? It was really cool. So, yeah. It definitely seems like the timeline that we're on, it definitely seems like things will be opening up, hopefully by June, I would say. I definitely see how less areas that have the less infection rate could open up for sure. You're seeing it here. Um, I love to see it. I love to see it. It does seem like there's more sports going on. So, I mean, come on, let's fucking let's let these kids play. You know what I'm saying? Let them play, man. Shit, open it up. You know what I'm saying? Let the motherfuckers play for sure. Yes, it's definitely opening up. Here in Oregon, we're able to do 50% capacity now. Uh, we're we don't we're not lifting the mask mandate, but we're having more people that can go to places, and more places are opening up, which is awesome. We just gotta keep the pace. I think our pace is really good. I mean, in some ways, I'm a bit frustrated because I feel like Oregon is a lot better off than a lot of other states. But I mean, I just read an article about Florida. You know what I'm saying, and the measures that they're using, and I've mentioned Florida and Texas a lot on here because especially like 4 or 5 months ago, I couldn't imagine going to a bar and feeling comfortable. I was saying that, like, and now I even say that, like, I cannot picture going to a bar, sitting at the bar, and feeling comfortable, and what that's gonna feel like once we're able to open up again. Because it's gonna feel weird at first, but it's it's on its way. It's got to by now. I mean, we're there. Especially when this Johnson & Johnson one pops off and everybody starts. What I'm saying. I don't see why we can't be starting to open up, like really start to let loose. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm hearing out of Florida is that they're already like a year ahead of us. Like they're the fucking the appetite that they have to open shit up has surpassed a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? Like it from what I read about Florida is that the support that they're giving and just like the overall attitude that they have right now is the best in the country. And that's what I'm reading right now. You know what I'm saying? It's Florida. How they handled everything is incredible. And I can't, I'm hearing it from both sides, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just I know there's a lot of places that are waiting to open, you know. like the Grammys tonight. They were talking about the Apollo Theater, and they had the homie on there who was like, "Man, I can't wait for the motherfucking Apollo to fucking open again." He didn't say fucking as much as I did, but you can hear it in his fucking voice that he was anxious. You know what I'm saying? Because they like, just like the Apollo is a landmark, not just for people, but for Harlem, for New York. You know what I'm saying? And you could hear it in his voice. You know how anxious he was to have, even 50% capacity. And I have to believe that it's coming. It's got to. California. It does seem like California is doing a better job of vaccinating people than I'm hearing in the news. And I cannot stress that enough. I know personally people, what I'm saying, who have already gotten vaccinated, and it makes me happy because they don't own yachts and they don't drive Porsches. You know what I'm saying? They're just regular people. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been a very crazy time. If I'm off the mark, it's about to get crazier because shit's about to really open up. We're March, April, May. By May 1st, everybody's supposed to be eligible to get a vaccine. So, but like I said, if we stay on this timeline, if the numbers keep saying what they're saying, I don't see why we can't open up like the week or two before we're allowed to, because by then we should have a way better understanding of what needs to happen, and then there'll be measures taken still, but at the same time, I don't want to get too far ahead. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get too far ahead, but all I'm saying is that it's just going to start to open up. I mean, it's got to. It's got to. All right. So, there's one thing I do love doing, and it's talking sports. What can I say? I'm not totally illiterate when it comes to sports. I feel like I have 2 cents to add to any conversation. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people who know a lot about the history of baseball than I do, but from what I do know is that it's I can hold my own. Anyways, we're switching to the sports segment. And so we are headed into the NBA playoffs. And there's nothing more I love than watching the NBA playoffs. That being said, so somebody pointed out to me the fact that Chris Paul was on the Houston Rockets, and the year that the Warriors were going for that season, for the best season in NBA history, they played the Houston Rockets with CP3. And CP3 is, for some people who don't know, it's Chris Paul, and he wears the number 3. So everybody calls him. I don't know why I have to get into this, but his nickname is CP3. Okay. And even his Jordans were the CPs. His Jordans are fucking dope. Anyways, so it was brought up to me. Somebody said, you know what? If Chris Paul wasn't injured during those playoffs when they played the Warriors, the Houston Rockets would have won that series. And so I fucking went to the archives. I checked out that playoff series. And I gotta say it, the Houston Rockets, they had a great squad that year. I'm in even without CP, they were still putting up big numbers, and that was 2014, I believe. And so it was and I just had to say, like, because it was CP3 and it was James Harden, Clint Capella, House, and they had a strong bench. Anyways, I think that Houston Rockets team that James Harden was on and CP3 is better than the team that he is on now, the Brooklyn Nets. What's different now is that Brooklyn is in the Eastern Conference, and Houston had to go through fucking Golden State, and that was a big difference. That's the biggest difference. I mean, if Houston didn't have to go through Golden State, I mean, I definitely think they won a championship. But that's the thing, though. You've had these great teams, like Peyton Manning on the Colts. The only thing is, like, he had to play Tom Brady in the championship. So it just goes to show you, things have to work out for you. You know what I'm saying? You get, sometimes it's not enough to just get lucky. You have to have, I mean, you just can't. Sometimes it's not enough to get lucky. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough to get lucky. So I started watching games, So without further ado, my top 5. The top 5 list, ladies and gentlemen. So this is well, first of all, I just want to say that I don't have a college degree. I don't have a formal training. There's no scientific reasoning for this list. This list is my opinion and mine alone. Okay. So this is my top 5 list. This is my top 5 NBA post-up shooters. Now, there's a lot of players, right, who didn't make this list. And because I'm talking about straight up post-up shooters, like straight up catch and shoot. Okay? Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, fucking Jordan. Well, Jordan's best. The best thing about Jordan was that he would break down defenses. And he would take people off the dribble. And he'd break down the defense. Just like Kobe, breaking down defenses. They weren't just shooters, what I'm saying? They had great defense. And, they can put the ball on the floor, take you off the dribble. So, but I'm saying that because I'm saying these are just the top shooters in my generation or maybe the past 20 years that I've ever seen. I mean, there's a lot of great players out there, but I'm talking about pure shooters. Pure shooters. And my number 5. My number 5 is Robert Horry. Robert Horry. He's got 7 championships. Right, he's got 7. So that's a lot. He's got a lot of clutch shots. I've seen him hit shot after shot, game winners. Big Shot Rob. Big Shot Rob was his name. Right, he's got two with Houston. He's got two with Houston. He's got three with the Lakers. And he's got two with San Antonio. Yeah. He's got 7 championships, ladies and gentlemen. That's a bad motherfucker. He was always ready. Big Shot Rob. Always had the big shot. Number 5. Number 4. This is a tough one for me because there's a lot of great shooters out there. But I can remember watching this guy when I was still in New York, and it was him and Aldridge. And I think when Aldridge left the Blazers, it did. He had a lot of he had to take on a lot of the load, and he's come through for more than once for the Blazers, and it's a fucking privilege to watch him play. And he's a great player. I'm talking about Dame Lillard, number 4. It's Dame time. He hits big shots time after time. He's definitely a big time player, big time moments. You know, the Blazers just haven't had a season to put it all together. I definitely think they have a lot of talent on the Blazers, and Dame is definitely somebody that is worth admission to watch. And that's why he's my number 4. My number 3 is it's really tough. My bottom 3 right now is could go a lot of different ways. But I just want to keep people in mind that this is I'm talking about pure shooters. I'm talking about catch and shoot. You know what I'm saying? Spot up. You know what I'm saying? So my number 3 is Klay Thompson. Now, I swear Klay and Steph came out of nowhere. And but when I saw Klay Thompson play, I was like, man, he's great. He's great. You know what I'm saying? Any other place, you know what I'm saying? He's a starter anywhere else. I mean, he's a starter, yeah, but if he was any other place, they would have built a team around him. I mean, he's that good. I mean, you're seeing it now with Golden State and the difference, you know what I'm saying, with Steph and the Warriors in general. I think the Warriors' biggest problem now is that they don't have a bench. Like they've always had a bench. They don't have a bench right now. And plus Clay's out. But Klay Thompson, what he brings to the table is like ridiculous. I think he has a record for most points in the third quarter or something. It's stupid, but he's one of the purest shooters that I've ever seen in the last 20 years, and that's why I'm giving him props now. That being said, number 2, Steph Curry. I had a lot of trouble with 2-1 because Steph does a lot more than spot up, but I think Steph definitely changed the game. I think the Warriors in general, they were more they didn't want to get into a half court set. Like they were more about a 12-point swing, 6-point swing, shoot the three, and it had a lot to do with Steph because he was taking shots, saying from the motherfucking, the NBA logo and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think their whole game plan for a long time was shoot the three, and that they were gonna settle for a 2, and just count on defense in transition and run, and the 9-point swing is better than take 3-point shots because a 9-point swing is better than a 4-point swing. You know what I'm saying? And it in some ways it's hard basketball because they're always checking up the 3, but I think Steph is the exception because he always he didn't matter from what point in the court he was gonna shoot a 3, and so in that way it's different, But my number one, I had no problem. This guy may be the best pure shooter that I've seen. And I know people are going to get mad at this because some people got left off. But, the best pure shooter, spot up from anywhere, let it fly, quick release. He would be nightmares for defenses. I'm talking about Ray Allen. Ray Allen ended up with 2 championships, right? I think he only has 2. No, he's got 2 in Miami. So he has 3. For my money, I just think that for me, there's nothing prettier than a 20-foot fucking jumper. Like the best, asset to fucking Jordan was his 20-foot jumper. Just like Kobe. He had it, you know what I'm saying? And it was a pretty shot. And he knew he was going to knock it down every time. It's hard to compare. But I just think that for my money, Ray Allen may be the best shooter that I've ever seen. Pure shooter. He's not gonna put the ball on the ground. Like I'm just saying. Like, I know there's a lot of people who are gonna dispute this because of so and so, but I'm talking about just pure shooters. I think Ray Allen he had a pure stroke that I haven't seen since maybe ever. You want to talk about Larry Bird, but Larry Bird had so much more to his game. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just the 3 or the, you know what I'm saying, the jumper. It was about the defense and the ball IQ. So, but yeah, that was a tough one. But it just made me think. But the That's the best thing about having YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You can look up any game. You know what I'm saying? And try to find it. If you want to find the finals, the fucking 2001 finals of the Celtics Lakers, you can find it. You know what I'm saying? Or not 2001. It was like 2007. I'm sorry. So hopefully I get this show out before St. Pat's. God, what can I say? It's a week ago before St. Pat's when we got shut down. Anyways, cheers, Sanja. Y'all be safe. I love y'all. Peace.